Okay, so his presentation is in Romanian, but I don't know if you want to speak English.
Yeah, that's okay.
Okay, so he will talk about some strange stuff.
Okay. Can you give me the presentation? Okay, hello again. So, I'm really happy to be among so many friends here. For all the others who don't know me yet, my name is Gelu Vac, and I work as a software engineering manager at Crossover. So, first of all, I am that happy to be among that many friends here, because I only finished this presentation like 2 hours ago. I never had a chance to address it. So I want you to bear with me for just about 5 or 10 minutes. Okay. So main thing about agility is that it raised many discussions, and what I feel right now that's happening is that it is kind of shifting from its initial vision, right? So since it is shifting and there is a lot of debate about that, we really need to stick, I guess, to the essentials of it. So going further from this discussion, imagine that whenever you're trying to manage a team, what you are actually doing, you are negotiating all the time. While negotiating, what you have there is a sales process. Okay, so you always have something to sell, and when you're selling, you have to make it sellable, right? You have to make it to market it. Okay, and about that, all the other guys, you have to be careful who are you selling it to, because everybody has preferences, right? And those preferences actually will tell you either you can sell it, or you can have a buy-in from your team, from your company, and so on. The other interesting thing is this, and what I'm trying to say here, because many people come to conferences talking about agility and what else? Leadership, that's right. So many other things, and all the programmers here, there, since this is like soft minding, is blah, 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 something, right? So what I'm trying to tell you that this is serious business because it has a research field, and it starts with utility function. Actually, utility functions are the base for creating the price index in preferences. So whatever you have, like services or product or whatever, they actually order that in order to create further business. Okay, so by the other hand, in utility functions, what you're studying is behavioral economics. The way you behave, this is how people perceive you. How can I say, this is not marginal effect, right? Behavior is what it is all about, right? Being a manager, you have to be the model for everybody else so that they can follow you. This is what actually leadership means, okay? It is a mathematical equation about building a relationship with your team. So, about this, there are quite a few frameworks. I would like to stick to only a few essentials. And I will try to skip all the mathematical equations, just for you to know it is there, it is researched, and it is relevant. That is why it is being researched. So, first of them is the framework for modifying unrealistic assumption. It is you need a framework. Okay, in order to evaluate anything, you need a framework. You need like a reference system, like an X or Y, right? And so this is point 0, and from here you're like this much preferred, and here you're this much preferred, and so on. So main activity is about building such a system so that you can be evaluated correctly in the terms that you need, right? You build your own reference system. Then we are talking about the framework of diminishing marginal utility of wealth. What happens in project management is that day by day, something stupid happens. Like you promise to deliver something today, it doesn't happen. What you do, you go there and you argue with your co-team guy, okay, with your co-worker. And that's just wrong, okay? You need perspective. You need to think in the future, okay? Of course that you have aversion to risk. This is how we are as entities, as people, okay? We have an aversion about risk. So why risk? He promised to deliver it today. Why risk and have it for tomorrow or get it? So try to pass that. Simple as that. Try to pass that. Think future. And also use this as a buy-in for something else, right? This is building arguments in order to lead your team, okay? The other one is expected utility framework. I don't know how many of you know, but actually frustration comes from having wrong expectations towards reality, right? So the reality is that checkpoint that tells you, whoa, man, wake up, okay? You were completely wrong. What happens next as a chain reaction is that the guy gets frustrated, and then it gets unmotivated, and it will not produce for you anymore. Simple as that. So another conclusion from this is set the proper expectations with your team. One. Second, set the proper expectations with your client. And the third one, set the proper expectations with your own company, right? I always tell people, whenever you're managing, and whenever I see myself manager, I don't see myself as, I don't know, a superior person, like, you know, somebody higher scaled, but actually the person responsible for the actual project and the enabler. And what I have to search all the time is a win-win-win situation. I have the team, I have the company, my own company, and I have the client, okay? So about that, you have to care for change. Then again, preferences are not to be debated unless they're selfish, okay? So what happens here is really connected to the framework, about utility maximization. I want to maximize, sorry. I have to maximize my own utility. Okay, so normally you have that as a core fundament for yourself. What happens is whenever you have an offer, so you're selling whatever in order to create a good leadership experience, okay? So whenever you're trying to do that, try to think about that as a win-win situation. Again, this is just underlying the same old story that I mentioned earlier. So whenever you're trying to do, because you know what happens, you as an enabler between your company, your team, and the client, you're quite in a peculiar spot because companies are completely self-interested, okay? So it's just not worth it you be representing them directly, okay? You have to embellish whatever stimulus comes from everybody. You just have to embellish it. You know, the company always will say stuff like, I would like to pay you less and you produce more so that I can have a bigger margin of profit, okay? So whenever that kind of comes, you have to split that into axioms and rules and parameters and variables and work on the variables, whatever. So you have to split everything and work only with the things that actually can be negotiated. This is a nice one, right? This is the framework of exponential discounting. The core principle behind this is that it has been established by researchers. This is something I like because we always have those jokes about the English researchers. So we have English company here, so it happens. And apparently the researchers, sorry, I didn't say any names. No names. Apparently, they discovered that people have a real and actual care for now, for right now. So if you will propose something like, I would like you to stay longer today and work, or work, I don't know, double, but tomorrow, since it's planned, they will always refuse today, because it's today, right? By the other hand, if you have any rewarding to say about that, you should do it today, because it helps motivation and it grows awareness, and like that you'll have a better input in terms of project delivery, right? Let's say, and quality of the product. Okay. So, in conclusion, whenever you have a product to deliver, it is not about you have a client to satisfy. Also, the budget is not a variable of the project, but one of the constraints. Same as the ETA, it's a constraint. Agility, again, is not a framework for, it is a framework for reducing the formalization level, and it is not just another formal model. Then, a manager has to be the glue for the team and the model for the team. Evaluation of performances does not have to be done often, but measurement, yes. Two different things, okay? We measure every day your performance, but we will only evaluate every once in a while, like every quarter or something, okay? While evaluating candidates, you will not just ask everybody, you shouldn't ask everybody just for how technical you are, but also soft questions that you believe it fits for them to be in this team. Whenever you build a team, that team has a history, and you have to fit everybody within that. You build a culture inside, and you have to have the candidates that actually will fit that culture as well. Then the implication in all the projects has to be completely altruistic. We are not building projects for ourselves. We are building the projects for the client, so we have to think client all the time. Decisions, the last one, decisions that are taken within a team have to be, how do I translate it? Help me out. Okay. Have to come two ways.
Mutually beneficial.
Mutually beneficial, thank you, sir. So, this is about it. So, thank you so much. Thank you for bearing with me.